Okay, welcome back to the DSORENSON terrain review part 3 timer started. Terrain review part 3 timer started, and apparently the part 2 did record this time. So we're trying to figure out what's going on here. We're trying to understand the terrain. And there's this terrain thing. Let's study where these inputs come in from. So we're going to start from general, and we're going to go work down here to see how we can change things. General, remember general? Pad elevation is 11 foot. So what does that mean? That means the house, when you draw the house, is at 0 elevation. But where is that in respect to the terrain itself? It's 11 feet above the 0 contour of the terrain. It's 11 feet above the 0 contour of the terrain. Is that true? Let's go over to here. Here's his house. The floor elevation is 0. That's 0. Fine. And so, there. See that contour line right there? That's 11 feet. See, this is 10. Here's 10. That's 11. That is where the finished floor is, right at that contour line there. Is that true? Take a look at this. In fact, let's take a look at this. And take the ceiling off so we can see it. There it is. You got cancel. Cancel. See that? Well, here, this is right here. That's 11 foot right there. Right there, it's 11 foot. It looks like it's the same finished floor, right? It makes sense to me, okay? And so, if you're using real true to life terrain contours, that's really the way to do it. And that's Glenn Woodward loves that. I'm not going to go into what I like, but anyway, what I typically do is I usually set this at 0 because I don't use real life contours because I don't have a terrain topo. I don't have a topo, but I know when I go out there to the field where it sort of is. So I'm going to change this to 0. I usually have my pad elevation at 0, and then everything's relative to that. So what happens? See what happened? This is at 0 now. So so if I look at my terrain, where's my terrain? 5, 4, 3, 2. It's probably right at the edge. That's almost at 0. So this edge of this contour, which is at 0, the end of the edge of this terrain, which is at 0, that's the same elevation as this. And that's the way I like to do it. So for right now, I'm going to just, do I want to leave it like that? Yeah, but just suppose that's what I want to do. I'm going to do it because I'm going to use this for an illustration. So that's what I would 0. Now what does flattened pad mean? What's flattened pad mean? Watch this. This is cheating. I think this is cheating. Watch what happens over here with this grade. See my house right here? Watch what happens with my grade right here. Watch what happens when I flatten the pad out. See what just happened? Did you just see what happened? I think that's cheating. If I come back over here to my terrain and I don't flatten pad, see what happened? What's happening is if you flatten pad, Chief automatically creates a flat pad for your house to sit on. I don't like that because I think it's cheating. It's not. You don't have full control over the terrain. And so when you flatten the pad out, what Chief is actually doing is they are giving you a cut fill situation. They're sort of taking the average right here and saying, okay, I'm going to take this higher dirt over here, and I'm going to stack it over to here. So it's a cut fill situation. Watch this. Yeah, see, flatten it out. Flatten it out. And then you get all sorts of funny stuff. And so I don't. Some of these shadows are a little hard to read. So let's work with my. Let's adjust my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's adjust where my sun angle is. 11, 12, 13. Did I lose it? Why can't I do it anymore? Oh, there it is. 1, 2. Why can't I go past 11? I can't go past 11 p.m. Of course I can't. I'm at nighttime. 6 p.m., 4, 1 p.m., 12. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just. You see, I'm thumbing through the time of day, trying to get a good time of day with get some good shadows. I'm back to almost where I was. That's not bad. So I can see what's going on. So I don't like to use that because I don't like to flatten the pad out because now I can tell that I'm going to need a retaining wall back there. And I'll make the retaining wall or do whatever I want. So that's what the flatten pad is about. So we're talking about the terrain and how we do these inputs. It started with general. Pad elevation at 0, you understand that. Flatten pad, I don't flatten pad out. What's this flatten, what's follow terrain mean? Let's follow the terrain. If you watch, follow terrain means see that? He made it only 1 foot deep. And so the bottom of this terrain is just consistent. What I like to do with my terrain is I like to make them 12 feet deep, 12 foot thick. See, it's 12 foot and it's following the, can you see that? It's following, give me a second. Back on. I just got rid of my background so you can see the contrast here. So what I like to do, it's not important. I like to make it flat. See now it's flat. I just like to do that. And I made it 12 foot thick, so it's 12 foot right here, and then it just gets thicker and thicker and thicker. I think it's an easier way of identifying how the land slopes. 7-7. UU. So flat pad follow. Okay, we did flat. I talked about flat. That's the bottom of the terrain itself. Follow terrain. I don't like to do follow terrain. 12 foot is 12 foot thick at the minimum. This stuff right here, I think it's easier just to leave it linear. If you press load, it has to do with smoothing out the terrain and stuff. What's going to happen is, okay, that's going to tell you got 1,000 points, and if you want to smooth this thing out, it takes forever to generate. So I say, I like to use linear. So what's going to happen is if you go back to this, it went back to linear. I'm not using high, medium, or low. It's just simpler. Terrain triangular count. I think that has to do with, if you look at it in a vector view, all these surfaces are created by triangles. That's how it's a series of triangles that creates these different slopes. And I think medium's probably a good compromise. Low, it's too rough. High, it takes too long to work it out, blah, blah, blah. High terrain but intersected by building. I don't like to do that. I don't like to use that. A lot of people do. If I uncheck this, watch what happens. Yeah, see, the terrain, the terrain is hiding my building. So now I know I need a retaining wall and I need to put a hole in the terrain or whatever. But I don't like to use hide buildings by terrain because if this is a raised floor situation with a sloped land underneath the raised floor, you understand what, in the crawl space, and I use a floor overview, I like to see that slope. I like to see how tall the posts and girders are at that underfloor space. So for right now, let's go ahead and high terrain intersected by building, but I typically don't use that. Contours. We talked about contours, right? Interval 1 foot. Every 1 foot I have a contour. Offset is let's go 1 foot. Let's see what that affects. I don't know what it affected. I thought it affected the number placement on the contour line. Contours offset 5 feet. Oh, check that out. Look where the numbers are. I'm moving those numbers around. That's what that's doing. Contours. Maybe I want to offset it every 20 feet. I don't know. I didn't change it. I don't know. If I change the contour offset to, this is, if they don't happen, 1 foot. 0. Oh, I don't know. God, I don't know anymore. Notice how those numbers moved? I like where they are now. I'm rough. Oh, God, this is taking forever. No, that's end of part 3. End of part 3. End of part 3.